Hello everybody and welcome back to the Jake's RC Stuff channel, and welcome back to episode 5, sorry. Anyway, I'm getting the soldering iron on ready because this is going to be a soldering episode. We're going to be soldering up this. This is the F405 VTOL from Maytech, that's the company name. And I've had to, well, I'm recording on the iPhone microphone because my iPhone's running out of battery, so gonna have that on charge. I've only got one lightning port, so there's only one thing I can do, is either microphone or charge. So we'll go with charge. First things first, we're going to undo this. So the VTOL board is sort of similar to others. The only difference really is that it's got this PDB on the bottom to make sure you can solder all your motors and stuff. It's sort of a mix between a multi-rotor board, which doesn't have as many outputs because you only really need four for 4 motors, but has the what's on the bottom, the PDB, and a wing board which has, doesn't have much of a PDB underneath, but is filled with servo outputs. And of course this possibly you could consider needs even more than a regular plane because it's got all the tilting stuff. It is going to use tilting stuff. Now this stuff I bought based off of, I believe, what Playlist 360 bought for his. I have also seen that Joshua Bardwell, of all people, have built one of these, but used TBS flight controllers and stuff. So his video might be helpful for programming iNav if I want to go for iNav. I don't really know. Still don't know, won't know until I put it together, what the situation is. Now, it has struck me that I should probably put this roughly back together and actually try plugging it in and making sure there's some sort of life. I don't know why I'm bothering, because to be brutally honest, if it doesn't work, I've had this sat on the shelf for so long now, I'm not getting a new one, but it'll just save me wasting time, I guess. Let's, I think that's just a load of power regulation down there. So we should be able to just test it with this top board. Have I got under the USB-C to USB-C cable? Yes, I do. It's for a hard drive, so I know it has data connections. Right, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to quickly download iNav onto my laptop, because I've got my MacBook with me. I'll plug it in and make sure it actually moves around, so I'm not about to spend all my time soldering something up that needs to be thrown in the bin. So I'll be back in a moment. Right, so iNav flashed onto it just to test it, and all the gyros and stuff seem to be working fine. So we are now good to begin soldering. Now, this is the PDB, and these ones on the side are for speed controllers to go into, and then I presume these are all for batteries, but I'm not 100% sure. No, so the inner two, so if I show you, the inner two are for ESC out. So if you had a motor in the front, for example, you could run it this way. I am going to have this board in the plane backwards. Ordinarily, for some reason, it has the battery coming out the back, which is bizarre. So I won't be doing that. I'll have the board around 180 degrees, and you can just set that up in iNav, and I presume autopilot. But basically, let's get soldering. And what we're actually going to be soldering first, let me pick through the bits I've got over here. This is the power distribution board that comes with the plane. So essentially all it does is split your power in to your motors through those cables, and then this is just a 5V 3A back. And very simply, I'm going to be getting rid of those, and there we are. That is going to be our power in, which we are just going to solder on to here. So, can you see what I'm doing? No, of course not. So, tin that. I'm actually going to tin all of them. You'll see why in a moment. And yeah, I'm going to put these wires to the outside. This will definitely be long enough, whichever way we go. So, positive is going to be on that left-hand side. And we'll do the same over here. like so. Doesn't really matter that them two are touching because they go to the same place anyway. Let's not melt anything. Because how nervous I am. You do things once and then you get very nervous. So yeah, what those other pads are actually going to be for is it comes with a voltage regulator, which I'm going to put on the output, but I guess it is technically an output. And the longer one is always your plus, but you don't really want it that long. So let me get the snips. Actually, the snips I think are already out somewhere. Snips. Luckily, on the actual capacitor, it does have negative on that side as well, so we know which way is which. So it's fairly close to the board actually, so I think we can just... Those are the most blunt snips in the world. So I'm going to bring it over to the edge a little bit. Try to be careful as well of that black connector, because that's what connects everything basically. Okay. Now try and get this other one connected that's actually nowhere near the pad because they're not the same width. Oh, that'll do. That's perfect. And I can throw it and break it. No, but I can also eventually put like a bit of glue or something just to glue the capacitor to the board. But no, that looks good. Right, so the next thing of course is desoldering these. Now I'm 99% sure that these are exactly the same thing. Yes, they are, so we don't really care which way around they go. Or which one, you know, goes to the left, which one goes to the right, you know what I mean by that. Obviously we care plus and minus going to plus and minus in the right order. That's importante. Like so. That's actually still quite a useful thing to keep because that's basically, as I say, a splitter, but also it's a 5-volt back, so you can have power into that and get 5-volt out. So there's no point throwing that away. Right, if that's the front, I'm going to have it wired to the two back ones just so they'll be hopefully close to the wing, depending on how far forward we install the flight controller. Can you see that? You can. Makes a nice change. And then, nice and simply. Ooh, you got stuck under my skin there, little bugger. Right. So we'll do the black one first. And then the red one. I've exposed the wire. Oh, bloody hell. What I'm going to do is heat shrink the whole thing. That's that, and then all we're going to do is boop, bit of heat shrink like that. And it can protect the board. I'm going to make sure it's stood up when I do it, just to make sure it goes that way, because it's going to need to be stood up to reach. I'm trying to not burn myself. I'll get it on camera in case UB frame gets restarted. That's annoying. It's going to have to sort of twist all these wires around to get facing the right way. But never mind. Oh, these ones are actually separated all right, so I don't need a bit of heat shrink on that side. Excuse me, but never mind. Right, this one has power to the back. There. Excelente. So yeah, only one of them actually needs twisting around. But no, that's good. As I say, I will put a bit of glue on that capacitor. So the next bit is going to be really, really boring because it's approximately 4,003,005 pins on this. And what's really annoying is, unlike others, they don't have a picture of all the pins in, so I can't actually easily see which pins go where. Yeah, it's going to be really fun, this. Luckily, I have got spares. I've done plenty of Maytag boards. So what I'll do, I'm going to listen to something while I do this, because it's a little bit painful. And we'll just do this as a time lapse of me putting all the pins in. So I'll see you all later. wasn't the most fun I've ever had, and you can see I've missed 2 pins there because I just couldn't get, I got solder in there and couldn't get it out. Yeah, not fun. But I looked at them and I don't think we actually need a lot of the sort of auxiliary pins, so here and here. And if not, I can rig something up. We'll sort something out. We'll get it working somehow. So yeah, when I did this, I actually forgot to do wires for the rear motor. And what I've decided is, if I can, I want to make sure it is disconnectable. So I don't want to just solder it straight to the pads, because that sounds like pain. So what I do get in the kit, if you're wanting to put the speed controller in the fuselage, is you get these bits of wire with 2mm bullets to solder onto the motor, onto the motor and the speed controller, and the 2mm bullets for the other end. So what I'm going to do, if possible, is solder those 2mm bullets onto the wires that are coming through the fuselage, and then solder these onto this flight controller. And I'll use a little bit of red heat shrink or whatever to denote which one is red. So let me get this black heat shrink off to begin with. No, I'm not getting that off. It's that like heat shrink that glues when you shrink it, by the looks of it. So yeah, we'll have to sort that out. But yeah, basically what I'm going to do is, so for this, very simple actually, just solder and solder. Right, and the one that I've scratched it off, we'll put to the positive, like so, and then this other one can go to the negative. And yeah, that's ready to sort of go up like that and plug in. So we'll go to the heat shrink in a bit, and I need to work on the plane, which has me really nervous, because if actually, why don't I do this? My genius is beginning to show, ladies and gentlemen. Ooh. I can remove the tail, and then there's less for me to accidentally burn. That's good. Right, okie dokie. Let me try and get this masking tape off. Why is it so hot? A couple of things we need to do. Numero uno. Let's get the wires paired back. I've got this little doohickey which should hold these for us. So, can you see roughly what's happening? Yes. These I've decided are a pain in the arse because they're not the full, they're not a full cup on the top. They have like a half cup, and they're always a nightmare to use. But luckily, I believe behind me, I have some proper ones. Right, let's try this again then, shall we? Quite see what I'm doing. Stay. Oh, it's gone in the springs. Great. Great. Yeah, because it's gone in the springs. The springs now won't go in to let me out. Or let it in even. Let it out, let it in, let it begin. Bit of weight on that, stop it rolling away. So the very last thing we've actually got to heat shrink, to solder, will be this throttle cable. We actually have a throttle cable for it in here somewhere. Or should do. Where did it go? Where did it go? And put them out of the way. Be a bit more careful with them. I can make one. Aha! Here it is, all nicely twisted and stuff. So, what I might actually do, cut this one back a fair bit to sort of here-ish, and then put this proper one on. So, God, these snips couldn't snip the thingy off a rice pudding. Right. Oh, it's made a right bloody mess of them. Great, 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 great. Let me get these proper snips. Not the best, again, bit of a nightmare that wire to deal with. Right, so now I need 2 small bits of heat shrink. Got some blue and some red. I'm just going to use blue for these connections. Oh, you can't see anything again. If I actually, there we are. Absolute mess, this bench, but never mind. So again, this is the throttle, I was going to say throttle servo, not throttle servo, but speed controller line. So, ooh, it's all melted there. Tell you what, right, if you're going to do soldering, so you're contemplating getting some, you know, power box wire, because oh, it'll be good wire, everyone says it's great. For soldering it isn't. It's like melting. Oop, I haven't put the bit of heat shrink on. I'm glad I've made them as long as they are, because Jesus, I have to cover so much more back up because of how much it's melted. Again, I don't know if you can see this. I don't feel great at the minute. I'll be honest with you, I'm feeling quite poorly. So, that's those on. We'll heat shrink them down. All this heat shrink fit on the black. Actually, I'm 99% sure I've finished soldering, so I'll pop this on here out of the way. Oh, perfect. Don't need too much of the blue because obviously it's bananing out. I think I've got my phone the other way around to the way I normally have it. I think that's why a lot of stuff isn't on film, because the camera lens is at one end of the phone. I sort of need the camera lens in the middle of the desk more than my phone. So, what I'm going to do for now, because the soldering is done in terms of soldering up for this sort of main flight controller bit. I'll have to solder stuff up to connect to it, but the rest of it should be fine. So what I'm going to do off camera quickly is I'm just going to put it together, plug all the bits in, and we'll actually be able to see the plane together for the first time, so I'll see you in a moment. Right, so for the first time in one piece, I'm really tiny, remember, do we need to finish the video really? We have the T1 VTOL. There it is. All motors attached, and if I go inside, you can actually see some stuff's attached, just to give us a rough idea of what's happening where. But yeah, so this is 4 videos now I've got that I need to edit. 5th video, the actual build. Go on. And yeah, so the rest of it is just fitting the rest of the electronics. But yeah, you've got some videos to watch, especially if you've got to this one and not watched any of this. But anyway, if you enjoyed this, please click the like button. It helps you a lot. Remember to subscribe if you want to see some more of this stuff. Any comments, questions, feedback, anything useful, feel free to leave in the comments down below. And the main thing that And again, it's a bit late to be saying this now, but the main thing that YouTube want me to do nowadays is try and get some more watch time. So if you could try and watch more of my videos, or watch them in another tab, or leave it running while you go to the bathroom or for a shower or whatever, just to get the watch time up, that would be greatly appreciated. But yeah, thank you for watching. I'll see you all in the next one. Bye bye.